Hi, welcome to VideoMathLessons.com. This is Algebra 2 and Trigonometry quick lesson. This is lesson number 16. This is using logarithms to solve exponential equations. So let's jump right into this. Let's take a look. Using logarithms, solve the equation 5x equals 17 for x to the nearest 10th. Now the reason why they say using logs, they don't want you to just start guessing numbers. So the problem is we have this exponent up in the air, and this is not like a nice multiple of 5. It's not like 5 squared, 5 cubed. So what we have to do is we have to get this x down on the ground. Now how we're going to get the x down on the ground is we're going to knock it down by taking the log of both sides. So we say hit it with a log. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the word log on both sides. And if you remember the properties of logs, this x will go down in front. So if the x was here, it's going to go down here. From basic log properties, power is going front. So we have x log 5 equals log 17. Now from here, log 17 is just a decimal. Log 5 is just a decimal. It's a banged up, nasty decimal, but it's a decimal. So what I can do is I can divide by log 5, both sides. And definitely it's a calculator question. So let's take a look here. So log button is right in the middle next to 7. So it's log 17. Close the parenthesis, it's very important. Divide by log 5. And we get 1.76. So I got x equals 1.760374428. And they say to the nearest 10th, one decimal place. So I'm looking right here. So we're going to say 1.8. That's our answer. Number 2, the amount of milligrams of 10 milligram dose of a drug remaining in the body after t hours is given by the formula A equals 10 times 0.8 to the t power. Find to the nearest tenth of an hour how long it takes for half the drug dose to be left in the body. Now let's take a look at this problem. So they want to know the time. So see this 10 right here? Notice the 10 is right here. So that's the initial amount. This A is the final amount. So I'm looking for the A value. Now if it was 10 to start with and I want half the dose, my A value is going to be 5. So the formula is going to set up as 5 equals 10 times 0.8 to the t power. Now, I just can't jump into logarithms right now because I got this extra number out front. Now, I'm not crazy about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the 10 by dividing both sides by 10. So all the old stuff still works, all your basic math. 5 divided by 10 is 0.5. Now, I could write it as a half. But since I'm going to be using a calculator anyway, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to be, I'll just leave it like that. As a decimal, it's fine. Now, here we go. Once again, if I want to knock the exponent down to the ground, you're going to hit it with a log. So I'm going to write the word log over here and log over here. It's called take the log of both sides. So I got log 0.5, and maybe I'll put in parentheses, equals, now exponents go in front of the word log, t log 0.8. Now once again, log 0.8 is just a decimal. This is just a decimal. Now, I see a lot of students sometimes, they'll divide this side away. But that's the variable. And it's when there's not an x there, people get a little confused. So that's the variable. I have to get rid of the log 0.8 from both sides. And so I'm just going to use my calculator. Log 0.5 or log a half. It all depends on what you have. Make sure you close the parenthesis, divide by log 0.8. And we hit enter, and we get 3.106287372. And let's go up to here. Nearest tenth, once again, one decimal place. The answer is 3.1. So every 3 hours or so, that's why they tell you on the medicine every 4 hours or so, because you got to keep reloading the medicine in your body. All right, bacteria. The growth of bacteria is modeled by this equation. And we just talked about this. So this is the final, A is the initial, T is the time. Now, how many hours does it take for bacteria, that's the initial, right? That's the A value, to increase to 2500. That's the final, or the G value. And they want this to the nearest hour, so we're just going to round to the nearest integer. Okay, so now let's plug in here. Final is G, so that's 2500, equals initial 4 times 2.7 to the 0.584 T power. Now, once again, I'm not crazy about this 4 in front, so I have to get rid of that first. So I'm going to divide by 4, both sides. So we get 625 equals 2.7 to the 0.584 T. Now, this is just a really nasty looking decimal, but that's okay, because this whole decimal, this whole exponent will go down in front when I take the log of both sides. So log 625 equals 0.584, and you don't really need the 0, but it just helps you to show that there's a decimal there. And T, notice the T goes with it, times log, don't forget the log, 2.7. Now, this time, I got a bunch of stuff I have to move over. I personally like getting rid of, now remember, that's our variable. I like to get rid of the logs, just to get them out of the problem. People feel better with them gone. So, I'm going to take log 625 and divide by log 2.7. So log 625 divide by log 2.7. Hit enter, and we get 6.48. Now we're not done. 6.48 149 0217 equals this 0.584 still. So I have to divide by the 0.584. Now I'm not going to retype all the stuff in. I'm just going to, hit divide. It'll use the answer. You always want to keep this and you calculate to the very end and then round your answer. Never round early. So I'm going to divide by 0.584. And we get 11.09, blah, 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 blah. Bunch of decimals. T equals T. They want me to round to the nearest hour, so it's going to be 11. All right, this looks pretty big. It's a big paragraph here, so let's read a little bit. Since January 1980, population of a town. They give me an equation, and they want to know what the numbers mean. All right, well, we just talked about a couple. This 720,500, that's the initial. The Y would be the final. But what's this 1.022? Well, that's the percent increase. And it depends if it's an increase or a decrease. Now, notice this problem uses the word grown, so it means it's an increase. So this is the percent. Well, not really the way it's written. First off, if it's above 1, that means it's going to go up. So I really want just this decimal part. So I'm looking at the 0.022. And I don't work with a decimal. I'm going to fix this. So I move that over 2 places. It's a 2.2% increase. That's what it means, 2.2%. So even though it looked 1.022 to start with, it really means 2.2. And it says, if this trend continues, when will you hit a little over 1.5 million people? All right, it's just like the other problems. So it's 1548 1,548,800 equals 720,500, 720,500 people, 1.022 to the x. All right. It's just like the other problem. These are big numbers. Doesn't matter. You have a big calculator over here. So first off, I got to get rid of the 720,000. Divide both sides because I want to knock this down, but I can't have something in the front. And after we do this, I think our numbers are going to become a little more manageable, so it'll be okay. So 1548800 divide by 720,500. Hit enter, and we get 2.149. It's a little bit better. Work with. 321 equals 1.022 to the x power. Now, I'm going to take the log of both sides. So I'm going to do log of this equals x log 1.022. Now, I'm not going to retype this whole in the calculator. I'm going to use log answer. So I'm just going to hit log answer, and it'll take all those weird decimals and put it in the calculator for me. So now I just got to divide by this log 1.022. Divide by log 1.022. Hit enter, and it says x equals 35.16718.012. Read the question. It says predict the year when this happens. Well, it's a little over 35 years. And don't forget, we started in 1980. So I'm going to add 1980, 1980. So it's going to happen in the year 2015. That's it, guys. Thank you for watching this lesson. Hopefully it helped working with logarithms a little bit. Remember to hit up the website if you want to see any more videos. And thanks for watching.